Good day, Junior Techies, and welcome to this video dealing with the mitochondria. This is the first theory video of a few that we're going to be doing to better our understanding in cellular respiration as a topic for grade 11. My name is Mr. P. I'm going to be taking you through a couple of the videos, a couple of the practice questions to better prepare you for your final exams. So stick with me through this video, and although it is quite a short video, it is dealing with one of the very important parts of this section, but also dealing with a couple of skills that are required in life sciences. Okay, so let's dive right in. So one of the most important things in life sciences and in this section is the drawing of the mitochondria. It's asked more often than not as a question, and it can be anything from 3 to 5 to 6 marks, depending on the type of question that you have at the end of the day. So we do need to practice this. We do need to make sure that we're ticking all of the boxes with regards to what the examiner is expecting of us. So let's have a look at how we actually approach a question when it comes to one of the scientific drawing skills, or the drawing skills in life sciences. So let's see. So the first thing is our drawing needs a heading, and simply for a drawing of the mitochondria, that could be the heading. But if we want to make it a little bit more scientific, this is a mitochondria. So we could write it like that. If you write down the heading as a biological drawing of a mitochondria, that's not going to be marked incorrect because your heading is present and it is stating what it is you are drawing, which is the mitochondria. So those are the two things that are being looked for. The fact that you are drawing the mitochondria and that name exists in your heading, and that there is actually a heading present. Whether it is above or below your drawing does not matter. It needs to be there, however. All right, so the first thing we need to look at is when we draw the mitochondria, we need to represent its shape correctly. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that a mitochondria does not look like a soccer ball. It's not round. It's elongated. It's more of an oval shape. So we need to make sure we represent that shape correctly. So when I draw the outer membrane over here, I need to make sure that the shape of my mitochondria is correct before I start inputting all of the detail that I'm going to be representing in my biological drawing. So this is like the foundation of my biological drawing. So my shape is correct. I've labeled it as the outer membrane. Fantastic. Now, if we know our work well, and I'm very sure you do, Junior Turkey, so you'll know that there is a second membrane to the mitochondria. So drawn over there is the inner membrane. All right. So, and you'll notice very, very uniquely, I have folds to this inner membrane. So I need to make sure that I'm representing those folds in the drawing of the mitochondria that I am putting on my formal assessment. Okay, and I'm labeling it appropriately. Now my label lines, now I'm addressing this early, my label lines need to be drawn with a ruler and in pen. They end the same distance from my drawing on the right-hand side of the page, and then my labels are put in lowercase print across the right-hand side of my drawing. Okay, but let's have a look at a little bit more of the detail that we need to be able to identify with regards to the mitochondria. And we see here that that outer and inner membrane can be represented or can be labeled as a double membrane, but then I'm only inputting one label. So I would like to differentiate between the two as being the outer and the inner membrane, or I could make it the double membrane. But if I put the outer and the inner, I've inputted two labels instead of the one for the double membrane. Next, you'll see I'm drawing a couple of spots on the inside of the matrix of this mitochondria, and those little dots are the ribosomes. In grade 12, you're going to be learning a lot more of what ribosomes actually do, but for the time being, we're just showing that they exist inside of the matrix of the mitochondria, and just to give you a little bit of insight there, ribosomes are for protein synthesis. You would have touched on that a little bit in grade 10 as well, but they are there for protein synthesis. Next, we have the inside environment within the inner membrane, and we refer to it as the matrix. So I can label that as an important label to the mitochondria. And then obviously now I'm addressing the folds of the inner membrane. The folds of the inner membrane being the cristae. All right. The important role that these folds play in the mitochondria is that they're increasing the surface area of this inner membrane of the mitochondria. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about why it is important for this large surface area on that inner membrane when we get into the process of cellular respiration. All right, so just to tick a couple of boxes to make sure that we've touched on all of the points with regards to the drawing of the mitochondria. If we look at, first thing to remember when I do my drawing is I need to make sure that the shape of my drawing is correct. Okay, the examiner or the marker is going to be looking for the correct shape of your drawing. Have you represented the membranes, the two membranes of the mitochondria, and then are the folds present on the inner membrane? And then lastly, are my labels correct? And now you can see I've inputted about 5-6 labels here. 5 labels, very, very important labels. Technically or generally what's being looked for here are 3 labels that are shown correctly in your image for your label marks. But I always tell my students that, if you've learned your work well, write in more labels. If the drawing is worth more marks, it tends to be for more labels. So make sure that you put in as many correct labels as what you can to make sure that your diagram is more correct. And you can get most marks for your efforts. All right, Junior Turkey, so this has brought us to the end of the first video. This is just addressing the shape and the structure of the mitochondria, but we are going to be looking at the mitochondria in a little bit more detail as we move through the next 2 theory videos. So do make sure that you watch those theory videos. Get your hands on the worksheet as well as the worksheet memorandum to make sure that you prepare yourself well for the end of the year for this section. Thanks again, Junior Turkeys, for joining me. I do hope that I see you again soon.